What happens when paradise turns out to be a lie you told yourself? On the edge of my sprawling Montana ranch, where the sky stretches wide enough to swallow your soul, there's a pond. It's not much to look at, murky, fringed with reeds, and tucked beneath a cluster of cottonwoods that whisper in the wind. To me, it's just a watering hole for my horses and the occasional bull that wanders too far from the herd. But to the outsiders, the ones who don't know the land like I do, it's something else entirely. They see serenity, a postcard-perfect retreat. They see escape. They don't see the truth. My name's Caleb Warwick, and I've been running this ranch for 20 years. Ever since my father passed and left me 500 acres of dust, dreams, and debt. I'm not a sentimental man, but I know the land's secrets, every dip in the earth, every hidden spring, every place where the past lingers like a ghost. That pond, though, it's no secret. It's a cesspool. The horses and bulls have been using it as their personal latrine for decades, and the runoff from the fields only makes it worse. I don't swim in it. Hell, I don't even let my dogs near it. But the HOA didn't know that. It started in early June, when the air was thick with the scent of wildflowers and the promise of summer. The Karen Hills Homeowners Association folks from the fancy gated community 10 miles down the road decided they wanted a nature retreat. They'd heard about my pond, probably from some glossy magazine that painted rural life as all sunsets and serenity. They sent me a letter, polite but firm, requesting permission to camp by the pond for a weekend. A chance to reconnect with nature, they called it. I didn't respond. I don't trust people who use words like reconnect when they've never been connected in the first place. They showed up anyway. Friday afternoon, I was mending a fence when I saw the Caravan 3 shiny SUVs and a rented RV, kicking up dust as they rolled onto my property. Out spilled a dozen people, all decked out in brand new hiking gear, their faces glowing with the kind of self-righteous excitement that only comes from thinking you're about to find yourself. Leading the pack was Monica Hargrove, the HOA president, a woman with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. She waved at me like we were old friends, her blonde hair bouncing as she marched over. "Caleb," she called, her voice dripping with charm. "We're so thrilled to be here. This pond is just divine. Perfect for our retreat." I leaned on my fence post, squinting at her. "Didn't get your letter?" "Oh, we sent one," she said, waving a manicured hand. "But we figured you wouldn't mind. It's just a weekend. We're not hurting anything." I glanced at the pond, its surface glinting in the sun, hiding the filth beneath. "You sure about that?" Monica laughed, a high, tinkling sound that grated on my nerves. "Oh, don't be such a grump. We're here to appreciate nature, not disturb it." I didn't argue. People like Monica don't listen. They see what they want to see. So I shrugged and went back to my work, figuring they'd learn soon enough. By evening, they'd set up their camp fancy tents, portable grills, even a string of solar-powered fairy lights that made the place look like a damn festival. They were loud, too, their laughter and music carrying across the fields. I watched from my porch, sipping whiskey and wondering how long it would take for the smell to hit them. It didn't take long. By Saturday morning, I could see the confusion setting in. A few of them were scratching their heads, sniffing the air as they sipped their organic coffee. The pond stench, subtle at first, grew stronger as the sun climbed higher. It's a smell you can't mistake, earthy, sour, and unmistakably animal. I saw Monica standing by the water's edge, her arms crossed, talking animatedly to a man in khaki shorts. I couldn't hear them, but I could guess the conversation. That's when I met Lila. She was different from the rest, quieter, with dark eyes that seemed to see more than she let on. She approached me as I was hauling feed to the barn, her boots sinking into the soft earth. "Mr. Warwick?" she said, her voice soft but steady. "I'm Lila Gwynn. I'm with the HOA, but I'm not really one of them." I raised an eyebrow. "That's so?" She nodded, glancing back at the camp. "Monica dragged me into this. Said it'd be good for my mental health. But something's off about that pond. It smells wrong." I smirked. "You're the first one to notice." "What's in it?" she asked, her brow furrowing. Horse and bull waste, mostly. Some runoff from the fields. Ain't exactly a swimming pool. Her eyes widened, and for a moment, I thought she'd laugh or run back to warn the others. But she didn't. She just stood there, processing, her gaze drifting to the pond. "They're not going to listen if I tell them," she said finally. "Monica's got them all convinced this is some kind of spiritual haven." "Then let 'em learn the hard way," I said. Lila shook her head, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "You're kind of a jerk. You know that? Been called worse." She lingered for a moment, then turned back toward the camp. I watched her go, wondering why someone like her was mixed up with that crowd. There was a story there, but I wasn't the type to pry. By Saturday afternoon, things took a turn. One of the HOA kids, a gangly teenager named Ethan, decided to go for a swim. I was checking on the herd when I heard the screams. I ran toward the pond, expecting to find a snake or a twisted ankle. Instead, I saw Ethan thrashing in the water. His face contorted in disgust as he realized what he was swimming in. Monica was yelling at him to get out, but the kid was panicking, slipping on the muddy bottom. Lila was the one who waded in to help him. She didn't hesitate, even as the stench hit her full force. She grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him to shore, both of them soaked and reeking. The rest of the HOA stood back, horrified, as Monica launched into a tirade about irresponsible behavior. I couldn't help it. Laughed. Monica whirled on me. "This is your fault," she snapped. "You should have warned us." "Warned you," I said, crossing my arms. "You didn't ask. You just showed up." Her face turned red, but before she could fire back, Lila stepped between us. "Enough," she said, her voice sharp. "Monica, you didn't even check with him. And Caleb, you could have said something before it got this bad." I blinked, surprised by her nerve. Monica, for once, was speechless. That night, the mood in the camp shifted. The fairy lights didn't seem so charming anymore, and the laughter was gone. A few of them packed up and left, muttering about lawsuits and health hazards. But Monica refused to back down. "We're staying," she declared, her chin lifted defiantly. "This is our retreat, and we're not letting a little setback ruin it." Lila caught my eye as Monica rallied the troops. "She's not going to admit she's wrong," she whispered. "It's like a cult." "Then why are you here?" I asked. She hesitated, then said, "My sister used to live in Karen Hills. She passed last year. Monica was her friend. I thought this trip might help me feel closer to her." I didn't know what to say to that. Grief has a way of making people do strange things, like camping by a polluted pond. I just nodded and left her to her thoughts. Sunday morning brought the twist I didn't see coming. I was out early, checking the fences again, when I spotted a figure by the pond. Not one of the HOA, an older man, weathered and lean, with a face like tanned leather. He was kneeling by the water, scooping it into a vial. "Who the hell are you?" I called, striding over. He stood, unfazed. "Name's Dr. Amos Reed. I'm a biologist. Been studying this pond for years." "Studying it?" I frowned. "Why?" "It's contaminated," he said bluntly. "Not just waste. There's a strain of bacteria in there, rare, toxic. I've been trying to get the county to shut this place down, but no one listens." My stomach dropped. "Toxic how?" "Bad enough to make you sick. Worse if you're exposed too long." I thought of Ethan, of Lila wading in to save him. My jaw tightened. "You need to tell them." Amos shook his head. "They won't listen. People like that, they see what they want to see." I didn't wait for him to finish. I marched back to the camp, Amos trailing behind. Monica was in the middle of some yoga nonsense when I interrupted. "Pack up," I said. "This pond's toxic. You're all in danger." Monica laughed, but it was brittle. "Toxic? That's absurd. You're just trying to scare us off." Amos stepped forward, holding up his vial. "I'm a scientist, ma'am. This water's got bacteria that'll make you wish you'd never set foot here." The camp went silent. Even Monica faltered, but it was too late. Ethan, pale and shivering, was already sick, his mother hovering over him in a panic. Lila, 2 was starting to look unwell, her skin clammy. I drove them to the hospital myself, Monica's protests fading as reality sank in. The doctors confirmed Amos's warning bacterial infection, treatable but serious. Ethan and Lila would be fine, but it was a close call. The HOA scattered, their retreat a disaster. Monica never apologized, but I didn't expect her to. Back at the ranch, I stood by the pond, staring at its deceptively calm surface. Amos was right, people see what they want to see. I'd seen it as just a dirty pond, nothing worth fussing over. The HOA saw it as their salvation. Neither of us saw the real danger until it was almost too late. Lila came by a week later, recovered but quieter. "Thanks for stepping in," she said. "I should have listened to my gut." "Most people don't," I said. She nodded, her eyes distant. "My sister, she always said this place was special. I guess I wanted to believe it. I didn't know how to answer that. Sometimes the things we hold onto, the dreams, the memories, are the things that hurt us most." I watched her drive away, the dust rising behind her, and felt the weight of the land settle back into place. The pond's still there. I haven't drained it. Maybe I should. But for now, it sits silent and waiting for the next fool who thinks they can find paradise in a lie. ND.